So students, today after discussing the characteristic of a chemical reaction, we will be dealing with the types of chemical reaction. Now there are large varieties of reactions occurring chemically. So for us to make it convenient, we have divided them into some categories. That is according to the way they react or they are formed or they give products. According to that category, they are divided into types of chemical reactions. So there are many types of chemical reactions. We will study them one by one. Now we will just make a rough flow chart of the types of reaction. Now we have divided the chemical reactions into various categories. Okay, and we will see the different types of reactions that are. The first type, that is the combination reaction. Second type of the chemical reaction is decomposition reaction. The third type of chemical reaction is displacement reaction. Further, there is neutralization reaction, and redox reaction. These are the various types of chemical reaction. Now in combination reaction, we will just have a rough idea of how the combination reaction is. In this, there is a type of reaction that is A plus B will give you a product, that is C. It means A and B are combining to give you one product. Here the reactants are combining to give you the product. Okay, and this type of reaction is the combination reaction because both A and B are combining to form C. So this is combination reaction. And decomposition reaction, what is happening? It is, you can say, just opposite of combination reaction. Here one compound is, I can write here, one compound, that is reactant R, it is decomposing and giving you more than one type of product. Here R, that is the reactant, it is decomposing or it is splitting into two or more products. Okay, so here it can be P plus Q. Displacement reaction, in this type we can see that there is occurring displacement of a lesser reactive element by a more reactive element. Okay. For example, you can see here the type is, suppose there is a compound AB which is reacting with a more reactive metal C, then it will form the product, that is Cp plus A. You can see here C, which is more reactive, is displacing the lesser reactive metal from its salt solution. So this we will study in detail, but this is just a rough explanation of how the displacement reaction is. And neutralization reaction is simply acid-base reaction where an acid combines with a base. When added to a base, it forms salt. And this is a neutralization reaction. Redox reaction, it is a type of reaction in which there occurs oxidation and reduction. Okay, in the same reaction, then it is known as the redox reaction. RED, red, that is for reduction, and OX, ox, that is for oxidation. In such type of reactions, both oxidation and reduction are occurring simultaneously. So we will be dealing this one by one. So first type of chemical reaction will be starting, that is the combination reaction. Combination reaction, as the name suggests, combination, it means here the reactants are combining and they are combining to give you one product. This is the meaning of the word combination reaction. Okay. So we can say when two or more elements or compounds combine chemically to form a new product, It is combination reaction. Now we'll understand this more by taking suitable examples. General form, as I have just told you, A plus B will give you C. It means here A and B, they can be elements. Both of them can be element. They can be element or compound and compound. So these can be various types of the reactants, and the product that will be formed is compound in all the cases. Now we'll take some examples. Your first example we can take is of the type element, where both the reactants are elements. Now in this category we can see that when two reactants which are elements, okay, they combine to form one product. A very good example of this is the burning of magnesium ribbon. Okay, magnesium ribbon, when it is burnt in the presence of oxygen, okay, it will form magnesium oxide, and you'll see it will be in the form of powder, white powder, ash-like powder. Okay, so this is magnesium oxide. Here both magnesium is an element and oxygen in its elemental form, it is combining with magnesium and it is producing magnesium oxide. So here the two reactants, they are elements, they are combining to form one product. Similarly, another example in this category we can take when iron is treated with sulfur and heated for prolonged time, then it forms ferrous sulfide. Okay, FeS, ferrous sulfide. Here again the two elements iron and sulfur are combining and they are forming ferrous sulfide. Okay, that is one type of product. Now these type of reactions in which the two reactants are elements and they form one product, they are known as synthesis reaction. So this type of reactions are known as synthesis reaction. More example in this category can be the combustion of carbon. When carbon is burnt in the presence of oxygen, it will form, in the excess of oxygen, it will form carbon dioxide gas. Here again two elements are combining to give you one product, that is a compound. So this is again a synthesis reaction. So these are some examples of the synthesis reaction. The second category we'll take, that is reaction of a compound with a element. Reactant are one element and one compound. Okay. In this category we see that the reactants, they are one element and one compound. Okay. For example, we can take carbon monoxide. In the presence of oxygen, it will form carbon dioxide gas. Here again carbon monoxide is a compound and oxygen is an element. So we can see that compound and element, they are reacting to form one compound. Okay. More example in this category, carbon dioxide when react with carbon, you can see it will form carbon monoxide gas. Okay. Here again we see carbon dioxide reacts with carbon and it produces carbon monoxide. So in this case also we can see that one compound is reacting with another element and it is forming a compound. CH4, that is methane gas, when it is reacting with chlorine in the presence of diffused sunlight, it will form chlorinated compound, that is CH3Cl. Okay, that is chloromethane. Here we can see that methane is a compound and chlorine is in its elemental form, and it is forming a compound. So this is also in the category where the reactants are one compound and one element. The next type of combination reaction in which the two reactants are compounds and they react to form one compound. Reactants are compounds. Okay. Means both the reactants, they are compounds and they combine to form one compound. This is the third category of the combination reaction. Two compounds combine chemically to form one compound. Now we'll take some example in this category. For example, calcium oxide, when it is added to water, it will form calcium hydroxide with the liberation of heat, as it is an exothermic reaction. Okay. Here we see calcium oxide and water, both are compounds, they are reacting to form a new compound. So this is the third category in which both the reactants are compounds. Another example is carbon dioxide gas, when reacts with water, it will form carbonic acid, that is H2CO3. So this is also another combination reaction. Another is calcium carbonate, when it is added to water and if excess of carbon dioxide gas is passed through it, then it will form calcium bicarbonate. So all the compounds, they are reacting to form one product. So we see this is also a type of combination reaction. Calcium carbonate is insoluble in water and when excess of CO2 is passed through it, it forms calcium bicarbonate. And here we see calcium carbonate, water and carbon dioxide, all are compounds. They are combining to form one product. And so this is a third type of category of the combination reaction in which the reactants are the compounds. One example, magnesium oxide, when it reacts with carbon dioxide gas, it forms magnesium carbonate, MgCO3, under suitable conditions. It is in the solid state. So these are the different types of combination reactions. Now we will take the next type of chemical reaction, that is decomposition reaction. Decomposition reaction, as the name suggests, decompose. Decompose means to split. So in these type of chemical reactions, one compound is decomposing into two or more compounds or elements. It can be either. Okay, so we'll take some examples and we'll understand what is the meaning of this type of chemical reaction. Just it is the vice versa of the combination reaction. In combination reaction, reactants are combining to form one product. Here the reactant is decomposing to form more than one products. Okay, so here we can say when a chemical compound decomposes on heating or by other energy change such as electricity, sunlight, so as to form two or more new products. It is called as decomposition. Now decomposition reaction symbolizing, suppose there is a compound AB, then it will decompose into A plus B. Now here AB is a compound always, but here when the products formed can be either compound or element or compound, or both of them can be elements. So there can be chances that certain compound can form only two different compounds. It can form either two different elements. So these are various categories of the decomposition reaction. Now this we'll understand by taking some examples. The first type of this type of reaction we'll see where the compound decomposes into two elements. Your first example we can take is the decomposition of mercuric oxide, MgO. It will decompose to form mercury and oxygen. Here we can see mercury and oxygen both are in its elemental form, and mercuric oxide, it is a compound. Next example, in the decomposition reaction, when a chemical compound is decomposing into two elements, is the decomposition of water into hydrogen and oxygen on passing electricity. Here water is a compound which is decomposing into hydrogen, oxygen, which are elements. More example of this type of category is the decomposition of AgCl in the presence of sunlight. It will decompose into silver and chlorine gas. So here we see that the compound is decomposing into two elements. Okay. And this type of decomposition reactions, they are known as analysis reaction. Okay. So when a compound decomposes into its element, it is known as analysis The next type of decomposition reaction is when chemical compound decomposes into element and compound. This category we can see the decomposition of potassium chlorate, KClO3. On heating, it decomposes into KCl, that is potassium chloride and oxygen. Here we can see the chemical compound is decomposed into a compound and a element. Another type of this category is decomposition of lead nitrate. This PbNO3, the whole 2. It also decomposes into compound and element. Now here it formed two compounds, that is PbO, that is lead oxide, nitrogen dioxide, NO2 gas, and oxygen gas. Okay. So here there are two compounds and one element. So whenever a compound it is involving one gas or two compounds, it may be involving one element or one compound. Okay. It comes in this category of decomposition of compound into element and compounds. The compound can be more than one, or the gas can also be more than one. Either of them can be. This is lead nitrate. Another example is decomposition of red lead, that is Pb3O4. It is decomposed into lead oxide, PbO, plus oxygen gas is liberated. This is yellow in color, so it is known as yellow. Here PbO is lead oxide. Now Pb3O4, it is mixture of oxides of lead. Okay, it is mixture of PbO and Pb2O3. Mixture of PbO and PbO2, where the two types of oxides are existing together. This is the red oxide and red lead. Now the next type of decomposition reaction, that is the category in which the compound is decomposing to give new compound. Chemical compound decomposes, produce new compound. As here we'll take example of calcium carbonate, which on heating it will produce calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas. Here we can see that all the three products and reactant, all of them, they are compounds. Okay. So here no elemental form is produced on decomposition. Similarly, copper carbonate, it will also decompose on heating into copper oxide and carbon dioxide gas. Similarly, decomposition of sodium bicarbonate, on heating it forms sodium carbonate, water and carbon dioxide gas. So here we see different compounds are produced as products, and all these compounds so these are some examples of decomposition reaction involving product and reactant as compounds. Now we have discussed some of the examples of the all of these categories. You can make many more such examples. You can take a list of such examples and you can study that when a compound it is decomposing, what type of product it is forming, and then categorize them according to the different categories that I have made. Okay.